Hey guys, my name is Patrouille. Today I'm going to be hanging some floating shelves above my fireplace. Now you might think this is a simple task. I did. But it did come with some challenges. For starters, I drew everything out where I thought I wanted it to be, or like approximately where I wanted it to be, and then I went in and lined up the shelves with what I thought was going to be the approximate location of them. And then I realized after grabbing my stud finder that wasn't going to be the case. Also, definitely recommend, if you are going to be putting up floating shelves beside your TV, to make sure that you can still see your TV from all the angles, because I realized after marking it out that if you sat on the very left side or the very right side of my living room, you were not going to be able to see the TV. It was going to be blocked partially by the shelf. So luckily, I realized that actually my kid told me as she was watching me do it that was a problem. Thank God she told me that. So I had to adjust them a little bit farther out than I originally wanted them to be. Yeah, so just remember to look out for those things. It worked out in the end. So I started off with probably the hardest shelves, the ones above the TV, the longest ones. And I did that because I knew that those ones, if those ones are off, then everything was going to be off. And the smaller shelves seemed to be easier to work with because they were closer to the ground. So I started with the taller shelves. And another thing that I came across was that if you want to line up these shelves, so I got the IKEA shelves, and they have like a medium version and then a larger version. Those are the ones I got. They also have a smaller version, but I didn't get that one. If you want to line up the sides, the bracket holes, you'll only have one out of the both brackets that actually lines up, and I was hoping to get as many studs as possible. Lining those up and also getting into the studs proved to be more difficult than anticipated. So I thought they would line up. They're like the same thing, but they do make the holes bigger so you can kind of adjust the shelf, but not that much. So once I found studs in the wall, I ended up not being able to put the shelves like directly together like I was kind of hoping, because then I would have only hit one stud, and I definitely wanted to hit at least two, because whatever I put above my TV, I don't want it to come crashing down one day unexpectedly. That would be a nightmare. So this is how I ended up doing it. You can see that there's a little bit of a gap in the middle. I'm not sure if I really care that much about it, if I should do something about it. But they didn't really end up lining up on those sides in the end, because I had to move the smaller shelves over so they weren't blocking the TV. And then also I wanted to line up the upper shelves, but the holes in the brackets didn't line up with the studs in the wall. It still looks good in my opinion. I love it. Like, I really love it. I guess not getting frustrated when things aren't going exactly right is probably your best bet when doing some of these at-home projects. I was trying to put up the shelf on the left side, and I'll show that, and the bracket kept falling down when I was trying to adjust the shelf, because I wanted them to both obviously match in the middle. I don't want one higher than the other, so I screwed it into the wall where I anticipated the center to be, and then kind of like shifted it around. Maybe that's not the best practice to do, but well, it worked. So yeah, maybe have a buddy help you do this. I ended up needing help in the end. It wasn't something that I just probably could have done on my own. After getting both those shelves up, we really struggled with getting the screws in the top brackets, because my walls are not completely straight, so there's a bit of a hump in the wall. So when I could screw in the one, and then it was just sticking out on the other side, and there's not a lot of give in the shelves for that. So we kind of figured out that if you like unscrewed the one, screwed in the other, then you kind of went back, pushed the other one, you could screw the right side. But when you're putting up shelves this high, I think typically it's recommended to have a ladder that at least puts you up to eye level, so you're not having to reach. I have, thankfully, a step ladder. It wasn't exactly high enough, so when I was reaching over, it was really difficult to find the screw and screw it into the hole. So get yourself a ladder that actually you can see the top of the shelf. When that was all finished, I was kind of tired, and I didn't feel like doing much more. I literally think I did one shelf the one night, another shelf in the morning, and then I just finished the rest of the shelves like the next day. Those smaller shelves went up really fast. Another thing to note, you should try and get like 2 to 3 inch screws, especially when you're putting something up above a TV, or just in general. Honestly, I would use this no matter what. Like, I have a shelf behind me, I use the same screws over here as well. Make sure you hit a couple studs, and then use like long screws. And because the IKEA bracket has a really giant hole that you can kind of move around, I think they anticipate you to buy nuts for them. But if you're doing this project and you get home with all your stuff and then you realize, oh, the screw's like gonna be slipping through the hole, or it's like just held in place, trust me, you're gonna need a nut. You don't want to put your shelf up and then it just pulls off the wall, because that actually happened to this one. I put the screw in and the head of the screw just like pulled through. So yeah, make sure that you have at least like a screw that has like a really big head on it, or use a nut, and use screws that are long enough. For these shelves in the fireplace, I hit 2 studs, I think, on the one side, 3 studs on the other side, and then the sides weren't attached to anything, so they were a bit wiggly, and that was driving me insane. So I ended up putting drywall anchors on either end of these so that they wouldn't wiggle when you put stuff on them. And I was debating between the biggest drywall anchor that I could get and like the medium one, and I tried the medium one and actually pulled through the wall and broke, and I was like, maybe this is a hint that I should be using the bigger one. So I ended up putting the bigger ones in, and you'll see me like screwing the wall around in circles, because that's the biggest bit that I had and it didn't fit through the hole, and so I was screwing it like this, trying to making the hole bigger, and then I ended up just hammering it through because it still wasn't big enough. Okay, so let me know if you like these kinds of videos. I definitely want to do more home improvement videos, but I'm not monetized. I don't get paid for this. This is just a hobby of mine. So I appreciate it if you subscribed and like this video, interact with it. I like to read the comments. Let me know if this has inspired you to maybe do something new with your home, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!